Hi! How are we? My name is Noelle, and as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing why I love getting rejected, why I've learned to love getting rejected, and just dating tips in general that I've learned in like the last 3 years, I would say. I'm 21 now, and I've been seriously dating probably for, about like the last 3 years since I was like 18. Let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about, which I don't want to talk about this for too long because I made a video on it and I just feel like I've just talked about this too much. Like, I don't want to talk about it. But first thing I'm going to talk about is situationships. Just because, at least in my generation, situationships are a lot more popular than relationships. I would say if you're between the ages of 16 and 23, maybe even older, you've been in a situationship or you currently are in one. If you are in one, get out. Get out! And if you have been in one, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. If you're in one, get out. If you've been in one, you know what I'm talking about. That didn't really flow how I wanted it to. A situationship, just to real quick break it down, it's basically when two people don't want to commit to one another, but they do everything that people in a relationship would do. So they call themselves a situationship so they don't have to make it official. The issue with situationships, this sounds all great and fine and fun and dandy. Usually one party wants to be in a relationship and really likes the other person and doesn't want to see anybody else, while the other party is like, I want to see other people. Like, we can, we can do our thing, but I want to see other people. Basically, one person ends up catching feelings, the other doesn't, okay? That's basically what happens. It's a very weird situation. It's a weird situation just because the person who catches feelings can't really say anything because technically they're not in a relationship. So the person who doesn't catch feelings is like, well, I'm not in a relationship with you, so why do you care? It's like either you're a relationship or you're not. But situationship, it's like you're trying to make a middle ground when there's no such thing. Friends with benefits is like one thing. Like, y'all just, mess around, do your thing, and then both of you go off and see other people. Like, that's okay. And then relationship is a relationship. But situationship, like, you're trying to find a middle ground between those two things. It just doesn't work. There's no middle ground between friends with benefits and relationship. You either are in a relationship and you're boyfriend and girlfriend, or you're not. If you are the person who does usually catch feelings and you like to be in relationships, don't say that you're okay with a situationship. I just wanted to start this off by saying if you're in a situationship, get out of it. It's not worth it. And situationships just, they aren't the move. And as someone who's been in numerous situationships, I'm never doing it again. I'm never going back because it's not worth it. Number 2, online dating. Oh boy, do I have a lot to say about online dating. I have been on dating apps since I was like 18, just because when you turn 18, you're like, now I can finally go on the dating apps, whatever. It's never been a consistent thing. Like, I've never been on a dating app for more than, I would say, a full month at a time. Like, I always will be on it for like a few weeks and then delete it for like 4 or 5 months and then re-download it again for like another couple weeks. Like, it's never something that's been consistent for me. But because we are all so chronically online now, online dating has become extremely popular, and it's a way that a lot of people in, again, I think my generation at least, well, not even just my generation, like everyone's meeting people online now just because it's so accessible, it's so easy, and then for people who have like social anxiety and don't like going out, it's so simple. Online dating has kind of just become the thing, and a lot of people do meet online now, which I'm just not a fan of, and I'm gonna get into that. There's a ton of online dating apps. There's Hinge, which I personally use. There's Tinder, there's Bumble, there's Christian Mingle, there's tons. So many. There's Grindr. I do think that some are better than others. Like, I would say I've tried Hinge, I've tried Tinder, and I've tried Bumble, and I would say Hinge is definitely the best one just because it's so much less hookup-y, where I would say like Tinder and Bumble are very much like people just trying to hook up. And also it's a lot of older people, whereas Hinge is like people more my age group. I'm gonna just talk about like the pros and cons basically of dating apps, just because I think that there are some pros, but there are definitely cons, and to me the cons definitely outweigh the pros. It's easy to use. You just download the app, you upload like 5 pictures of yourself, do a couple prompts, and bam, put your name and your age and you're done. Like, you're there. You get straight to the dating part. To me, this is actually a con, but this can definitely be looked at as a pro. You just get straight to the dating. Usually, like, when you start texting someone on these apps, you're planning a date. There's nothing before that. Like, you just get straight into like, okay, let's go on a date. Like, I think you're cute, let's go on a date. There's nothing leading up to that, which I think can be ideal for a lot of people. pro. Like there's no fucking around. Like it's just, let's get straight to the point. Another pro is that you can learn a lot about someone just based on their profile that maybe you wouldn't learn just off meeting them at a bar. Like in one look at their profile, you can see what they look like. You can see their interests. You can see what job they work. You can see if they have pets. You can see like so many things that maybe usually if you met this person at a bar or whatever, you would have to ask a ton of questions. And whereas with dating apps, it's like, oh, I just saw your profile. Like I know half the things about you. Like you can see their sign. Like it does make it a bit easier in the sense to kind of be like, no, I'm not gonna like this person, or yes, I'm gonna like this person, rather than, like I said, meeting them at a bar somewhere like that and you guys are talking and then you have to get through like a 20-minute conversation to realize that they're not for you. So those are the pros for online dating. And I think, like I said, if you're someone that has social anxiety and you don't like to go out and whatever, it can be very useful. For me, someone who loves to talk and go out and whatnot, I am not a fan of online dating. I did just get back on Hinge like 2 days ago, literally because I was bored, and to be honest, sometimes I just like to troll. Let me tell you the cons. First of all, there's always the chance that you could get catfished, and that can be especially dangerous for women. I mean, that's never happened to me, but there's always that chance, and I think it's definitely a lot scarier meeting someone off a dating app that you've never met before, rather than you meet someone out and you're at a party and whatever, and then you go out with them again. Like it's just, there's a different, obviously a different level of comfortability, but that's kind of a given. A con is that you get straight to the dating part, and I said that was a pro because that can be a pro for some people, but for me and maybe for others, it could be a con because, at least for me, I like to, before I date someone, I really like to become friends with them. I think that's always how I found like the best connections and how I've really learned to love a person, is by becoming friends with them first and then dating them. I think when you just go straight to the dating and the first thing you do is date and that's the only thing that's on your mind, I don't think you really get to know a person because they're in dating mode. You know, they're like, I need to impress this person. I need to make, you know, myself look as good as I can. Like whatever, like all the things you do when you're, you know, going on a date with someone, rather than when you're just becoming friends with them. I think you're a little more yourself from the jump. You're not necessarily trying to impress this person. Maybe you are, but it's in a different way. Like it's very different. And I think you can really get to know someone for who they are when you become friends with them first and then try dating. It's just so much better. You understand a person more, and then you can really decide if you want to date them or not, or if you just want to be friends, or if you don't even want to be friends. It just depends on what you prefer. Another thing about dating apps is that a lot of people do go on dating apps to look for hookups and like one night stands and whatnot. I will say Hinge, like I said, is a lot less hookup-y, and that's why I've used it, because I'm not a fan of hooking up with random people. You know, I like to go on dates. Like a lot of people do go on these apps to just kind of look for people to hook up for the night. I mean, you could definitely find a lot of people who aren't, but there are also a lot of people who are, and there are a lot of people who say they're, you know, figuring out their dating goals and they're looking for a hookup. Let's be real. Another thing about dating apps is that when you meet someone on a dating app, you build a higher expectation for them. So, you know, you meet someone on a dating app, you're texting them, the conversation is amazing, they know how to text, you know, they text back in a efficient, timely manner, their photos, like they know how to dress, their haircut is like very nice, whatever. I think it just builds up higher expectations. So when you actually meet the person, you have this very high expectation of them. And when they don't exactly meet that expectation, everything kind of just crumbles. Whereas, of course, when you meet someone, you're out at a party, you meet someone, you don't have any expectations because you just met them. And that's happened to me before. I remember like I was using Hinge, like this was definitely over a year ago, but I was texting this guy and the conversation was amazing. We were texting for like a few weeks and I thought he was really cute and the conversation was just flowing, everything was good. And then we went on a date and I was just like, not the vibe at all. Like he just did not match my expectation like he did on text. And then it just feels like waste of time too. You're like, damn, I've been texting this person for 2 weeks, ready for this date, whatever. And now like I low-key just wasted 2 weeks of my life. Like that's all I have to say about online dating. I think it's good to try. Like I think it's fun to try. And honestly, like I'll keep saying to my friends, like I'll be like, I'm never going back to online dating. I'm never going back on Hinge, whatever. And I do every time because there is something about it that is fun. Like it's fun to scroll. It's fun to see people's, what they put on dating apps. Like it's fun and it's funny. I don't know if it's necessarily the place that you're gonna find your potential husband or wife, but maybe it is. Next topic is ghosting. Ghosting. And I'm not talking about the scary kind. I'm talking about when you're texting a guy and he stops responding when the conversation was going great and you're like, what just happened? Like, what did I do? You did nothing. Don't take it personally. And I think that being ghosted is better than the alternative, which is them just leading you on and not telling you that they don't like you or that they don't want to be with you or whatever. I think ghosting is better than that. Obviously, ideally, we would all, or at least, I mean, I would like for someone to tell me like, hey, sorry, I'm just not interested. Like, what? Yeah, I don't need a reason, but I'm just not interested. I think that's obviously ideal, but I would rather be ghosted than be led on. So it's usually a blessing in disguise, I would say. Just don't take it personally. I wanted to bring this up because I recently got ghosted. It hasn't happened in a while, actually. I've been living pretty great, but I'm chilling. Next topic, the one we've all been waiting for, rejection. Listen to me. I'm gonna say 3 words and I need you to note them down. Rejection is redirection. Rejection is redirection. I have set out to get rejected as many times as I can in 2024. I've gotten rejected a couple times and that's okay. And I've also not gotten rejected. If you go on a few dates with someone and they just aren't interested, or if you ask someone on a date and they decline, then that is a great thing, because right there you have built up 30 points of confidence. Because once you start getting rejected, you're gonna stop caring. I'm telling you, the people who truly do not give a fuck, who truly can say, IDGAF and actually mean it, are the people who are not scared of rejection. I promise. If you can be rejected and not take it personally, you will become unstoppable. I'm telling you. If you can get rejected and not take it personally, you will become unstoppable. Nothing will be able to stop you. Nothing will be able to take you down. You will become the most confident version of yourself. Swear. If you really think about it, most of our fears come from rejection. When we're scared to ask someone on a date, it's because we're scared of getting rejected. When we're scared to apply for a job, it's because we're scared of getting rejected. When we're scared to apply to a new school, it's because we're scared of getting rejected. When we're scared to follow our dreams and pursue what we want, it's because we're scared of getting rejected by society or by our parents or by our friends. Almost all of our fears stem from rejection. Just imagine if fear of rejection didn't exist, how many things you would do. How about this? If you were guaranteed that you would never get rejected, think about how many more things you would do, how many more people you would talk to, how many more jobs you would apply for, how many more times you would have just done what you wanted to do. I got you there, didn't I? Don't be afraid to get rejected, and you should want to get rejected. I saw a TikTok. So this TikTok that I saw that really made me want to set out to be rejected. It says, apply to jobs you're not qualified for, put yourself in situations that you wouldn't ordinarily find yourself in, allow yourself to be rejected because it's not your job to tell yourself no, and this is where your entire life has the potential to change. You already don't have it, so what's the worst that could happen? That's it. You already don't have it. So that person that you just saw across the bar that you thought was really cute, you don't have that person. You're not dating them. You already don't have them. So if you go up to them and you ask for their number and they say no, or they say, sorry, I'm dating somebody or whatever, what's gonna change? Nothing. You already don't have them. And then maybe you go up to them and they do give you their number and you guys do start texting and then wait, and then you start going on dates, and then maybe something will change. If you get rejected, nothing change. You already don't have that thing. So you see this job, okay, maybe you're not that qualified for it, apply for it, whatever. You already don't have it. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. They reject you, and that's fine. You don't lose anything by being rejected, and you gain confidence. I can't tell you, in this last month, I can't tell you how much my confidence has skyrocketed just by going up to random men at bars and asking them for their numbers or Instagrams and getting rejected a couple times. I can't tell you how much my confidence has gone up. And I've done other things. Literally last night, I went to a bar alone. My friend ended up meeting me later, but I didn't expect that. I was at the bar by myself for a full hour. Literally so scary, but within 10 minutes, I literally met some girls and we started talking. And I met a guy and we started talking. So for myself, I've made it a goal this year to do as many things as I can that scare me. And that includes going places alone, which I've done. And I had done in the past, but I hadn't done as much as I wanted to. So really just, if I want to go somewhere, going. If no one can come, I still go. And then I've also made it a goal for myself to go up to people. If I find someone cute, if I'm like, hey, I like your vibe, go up to them, start talking to them. And if they're not vibing with you, you walk away. That's what I do. I just walk away. I'm like, okay, thank you. Have a good night. Bye-bye. And the final tip I want to give to you all is to date yourself. This is especially important if you are a single girly like me. You must date yourself. You have to date yourself, especially before you get into a relationship. You have to date yourself. By dating yourself, you avoid losing yourself when you get into a relationship, and it's easier to spot red flags because you know how you want to be treated because you've treated yourself that way, so you know how you want someone else to treat you. And it's so much easier to be like, hey, wait, no, I don't like that. It's harder to get caught up in the bliss of a relationship. There's so many ways you can date yourself and be your own partner. You can take yourself to the movies. You can buy yourself flowers every week. You can take yourself shopping. You want to do all of the things that you would want a partner to do for you. It can be scary, of course, going by yourself to the movies, going by yourself out to dinner. Those can be scary. So start small. Buy yourself flowers. That's such an easy thing. Like, no one knows who they're for. Start small and then work your way up, and then start taking yourself out on dates. That will just help you identify what you want in a partner so much more, and it'll help you to not waste time when you're dating because you'll immediately know, no, like I wouldn't treat myself like this, so why am I gonna let someone else treat me like this? That's why you gotta respect yourself. That's why you gotta date yourself and love yourself the same way you would want a partner to. All right. Well, I think that's it for this video. I've given all of my tips. I'm single and I'm on Hinge and I'm living my life, and I'm single by choice, by the way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. I love making videos like this. I hope that you at least took one of these tips and were like, yeah, that's right, she ate. I can't wait to learn more about dating. I'm only 21, so I have like so much more dating left in my life to do. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a great day. Have a great month. Have a great year. This is your year. This is our year. I love you. Stay safe. Bye. See you in the next video.